Yo, we're going live on a walk today. Today, I had to take my fiance to the airport, and yeah, I just need to be in motion, you know? Need to be in motion. Because one thing I want to say is there's a lot of new folks around here, and then actually Facebook keeps giving me this notification to introduce myself again. So here we go. My name's Micah. Thank you for everybody that's following along. A little bit about me. I'm a professional speaker. I speak on how to use your humanity on purpose and getting out of that rough draft of your life, how to do that, right? Living in just what's really available to you. So what I do in these talks on here and on this page is just share what I've learned along the way. So I have a beginning in a cult system. I didn't even know about it until my 30s, and what my life was like from having the beginning there, right? Starting off in the woods and just a little Y2K cult, very small group of people, and what it was like just to come from that and then to get perspective on it, right? And going through more than 20 something jobs, just surviving the things that life delivers up, right? Really, you never know what life's going to offer. And working with my therapist, he talked to me about my life experiences. When statistically, they typically end in a death at the age of 30. Usually it's self-induced, whether intentionally or unintentionally. Overdose, drinking, or actually choosing to end it. And it was just simply because of all these different things, from who my parents were to the experience we had to all this stuff that really all of our lives have these things about it that it adds up to. And depending on where you're from, how you got here, it all is different for us. So what I've taken the time to do is notice that and then share my experience of what it's been like to come from there to then have the opportunity to sell almost 1,000 houses, right? Like to really do well in the real estate industry, then the chance to work with the top 1% of real estate investors in the single family residential space that are just incredible people, good folks that really are very important to the real estate process and getting to build incredible relationships, to that then allowing me to learn how to share my story even more and growing into the space that I am now. And that's a little bit of an intro. So there you go. If you ever have any questions, please let me know. If you are an event producer and you're looking for someone to speak on that is what I do. Please reach out to me, DM me. If you're somebody that knows somebody, please. That's how we fill our calendars. It's a heavy referral-based world, and I really appreciate it. So what I want to talk about today, I gotta switch arms, I'm just getting tired. And I'll make sure I don't punch you in the sun. What I want to talk about today: remain in willingness. I can handle this. Your daily mantra. All right, what that means. So, remain in willingness. Willingness is the number one energy the universe actively seeks to reward. That's been my experience. If you will remain in a place of willingness where you're just not checking out on life. You're not saying to yourself, I can't do this, I can't handle this, I can't. You're remaining in a place where you say, I can handle this, even when it's stressful. It's okay that it's stressful. That part doesn't matter. A lot of stuff is stressful. And it doesn't make it any less beautiful, right? It doesn't make it any less valuable just because it's hard. Hard is not a bad thing. There's been this story around now for a couple thousand years about, it's called the fall of man, and it's not very helpful. Because it convinces you that you're almost broke and you can't do nothing about it. And there used to be this time where you didn't have to do nothing, and now you got to do all this stuff, and it's horseshit. That's not the way that story is meant to be told. Getting to participate in life is the magical thing, no matter what it is we're experiencing, right? Because that's where we have to dig into what's actually happening. And what's actually happening is we're on a planet, one planet next to a star that's one of 300 billion stars in our galaxy, That's one of 2 trillion galaxies in the universe. And we are one of the species on one of the planets by one of the stars, and that's where it is, right? It took 13.8 billion years to get to here. So that's reality. Now let's get started. What is going on in your life today? Right? What is it really? What are you really dealing with? Because that's how you get perspective. That's what you need to see. And that's what allows you to stay in willingness, because this ain't about you. And that's the liberating part. What's amazing is you're awake to see it. Out of all the humans that have ever existed, you're awake right now. If you can watch this and hear this, you're awake right now, and you can see what's going on. Now, what you think is happening, that depends on you. That depends on how much stuff you've stored just down in yourself and tell yourself about what's happening in the world. And a lot of that's what's wrecking your life. That's what makes you unwilling. That's the things that tell you can't handle this. Is you've stored something deep down inside of you. And whenever anything reminds you of it or directly touches that thing, life does it, you shut off. I can't do this. We do it about all sorts of stuff, right? Silly things too, right? It doesn't have to be this huge thing. I'm trying to work on it with my daughter right now. 11-year-old that completely shuts off at the sight of a certain kind of bug. That's not helpful. That's not in touch with reality either. Right? We can work on that. We can show it. Now, it's okay that it makes you feel scared, freaks you out. Like that's okay. However, that's not an excuse to shut down. That's to see, oh wow, this makes me feel this way. This makes my brain say all that kind of stuff. This does all these things. Very interesting. Notate it. If you don't like, you can choose to not like bugs if you want to. Like, again, it's just the more stuff that you decide you don't like, you're going to look for it all the time. Actually, you're going to put these little filters on, and you're going to look at life to make sure, oh man, I want to see nothing. Nope, there's nothing I don't like here. Perfect. Now I can feel good because there's nothing I don't like. Insanity. That's insanity to live that way. What if you let all your filters go and just looked at what was actually happening? Because if it can actually happen, then it can actually happen. That's reality. What is happening, right? Don't try to say constantly what you think it is. Look at what's really actually happening. And that's why we zoom out, right? Today is not August 22nd, 2024. It's just what we call it. It's day 5 trillion and something in the history of time. So, in this brand new day, I call it the raw edge of time. Right? We've gotten so familiar with time that we don't really appreciate it for what it is, because the past is real because it happened. Present's what's really real, and the future is just simply what's possible. But it's not real. Yet we spend so much time in both of those and very little time in the present. But the present's what's always happening. That's the skill of what I love to dig deep on, how you find that place where you remain willing is to realize you, the real you, you're the one experiencing all this. You're the one who sees, you're the one who feels, you're the one that hears your thoughts. Your thoughts, really, what they really are, it's just electrical and neural impulses, synapses firing off that somehow your consciousness can read, can hear it and listen to it. That is fascinating. We haven't built anything like that can do that yet. That's why our brains are incredible what they can do. You study what Einstein did with his thought experiments. It's fascinating what he was able to do just sitting there in his chair. And this is going to get loud for a second because there's a truck coming by. So, one thing about my Apple ears, they pick up a lot of noise. Anyways, okay, remain in willingness. I can handle this, right? From that place, when you just tell yourself over and over, I can handle this, what you don't do is check out, right? You just don't check out. What we typically will do as a humans, we'll go as hard as we can until we got to check out. And then we shut it down. A lot of times it's literal physical checking out. We'll push ourselves so hard during the day that physically we just have to lay down. We literally shut down. You watch somebody do that for too long, they'll physically check out of the world, right? You can do so much where you just too much where you shut it all down. So it's where's the place that you can operate from where you remain in willingness, you can handle this, and you deal with what's actually happening, the reality of it. Again, adding in all the context, right? If you need more, all right, the sun, you can fit I think it's 1.3 million Earths inside the sun. If you want to know how big that is, right? The sunlight, it left the sun 8 minutes ago. So we're really, what you feel is from the past. That one gets me a lot. The closest star is 4.2 light years away. Right? How long is a light year? Well, if you were to hold a light beam and let it go and count, snap your fingers, went around the Earth 7.5 times. That same amount of time, so going that fast for 4.2 years. And then the nearest galaxy is over 2 million light years away, right? Like, it's staggering. It's staggering when you start to think about it, but that's the way we have to think about it, because if we don't, we have too zoomed into a story. We don't remain in willingness. We come up with this idea of something that it isn't. And in the end, reality doesn't care what you call it. It's just going to keep right on trucking. That's the gift of being human, using your humanity on purpose, is to tap into what's actually happening. That's the opportunity to ride the wave of the age you exist in. Oh, everything. So, today, remember, it's the same sun. I put this post up earlier. It's just that when you look at the sun, every human being that's ever existed felt that same sun. As far as we know, all life that's ever existed felt that same sun. We haven't found anything living for a long time around us. We've sent so many probes out, still haven't found it. Yet it's everywhere here, on this, what Carl Sagan called the pale blue dot. Everywhere. Don't lose sight of how magical this all is. That's how you remain in willingness. That's why you say, I can handle this. Because you can. Look at this gift. Even when it's hard. Hard equals good. That's what I teach my kids. It's okay that it's hard. Keep going. Keep going. Because when you get through that hard period, a different period comes. And then hard comes back. And all the things come. Right? So, when you go through today, remain in willingness. You can handle this. I promise you. If I can go through what I went through and still be alive and kicking, I promise you, you can too. You got this. All right? My walk's over. We'll see you soon.